You see her on stage under the bright lights looking absolutely flawless, and you think, wow, she really has it all. Shania Twain is a total powerhouse. Over 100 million albums sold, 5 Grammys, and a track record of writing songs that literally shaped an entire era of music. But if you peel back the layers of fame and that incredibly fierce, confident persona, you'll find a life that has been defined by an unreal amount of survival, trauma, and heartbreak. For years, the tabloids have whispered about her health, her chaotic past, and the sudden, mysterious silence that almost killed her career. Now, at 60 years old, Shania is finally setting the record straight and confirming the rumors. Honestly, the truth of what she went through is way more intense than any headline could ever capture. Let's break down how one of the biggest superstars on the planet survived a lifetime of unimaginable betrayal and loss. Long before she was Shania, she was just a little girl named Eileen Regina Edwards, born in Windsor, Ontario back in 1965. Her biological dad walked out when she was only 2, leaving her mother Sharon to scramble and hold everything together. Eventually, Sharon married a man named Jerry Twain, who adopted Eileen and her sisters, giving them his last name. It was supposed to be a fresh start. Instead, it was the beginning of a nightmare. The family packed up and moved to a tiny mining town called Timmins, Ontario. The winters were brutal, money was practically non-existent, and Shania frequently went to school with an empty stomach, never knowing when a real meal was coming. Heating and electricity were luxury items they couldn't always afford. But the poverty wasn't even the worst part. Inside the house, things were terrifying. Jerry had a horrific, violent temper and would brutally beat her mother right in front of the kids. To make matters worse, when Eileen was still very young, his behavior toward her crossed lines that no adult should ever cross, making her feel completely unsafe in her own skin. During those dark days, music became her only lifeline. By the time she was just 8 years old, her mother was sneaking her into local bars to sing. She wasn't chasing a dream or looking for applause. She was doing it to make enough cash to put food on the family table. While other kids her age were fast asleep, she was performing for crowds of drunk adults, learning the hard way just how unforgiving the world can be. By November of 1987, Shania was 22 and desperately trying to build a path out of that environment. Then she got the phone call that shattered her universe. Her mother and stepfather had been killed instantly in a head-on collision with a logging truck. In a single afternoon, her entire world flipped. She went from being a young woman dreaming of a music career to the sole legal guardian of her 3 younger siblings. There was absolutely no time to cry, no room to grieve, and zero space for her own ambitions. She had to become the parent, ensuring her siblings were clothed, fed, and staying in school. Her musical dreams had to be put on ice. She moved the family to Huntsville, Ontario, and took a grueling gig singing at the Deerhurst Resort, performing theatrical shows for tourists. Even in the dead of winter, she'd push through multiple shows a night on just a few hours of sleep, purely to keep a roof over their heads. But even during those exhausting years of sacrifice, that inner spark never quite went out. Deep down, she kept holding on to the hope that one day she'd get to live her own life. And sooner than she thought, that window was about to break wide open. In 2003, while out on tour, Shania was bitten by a tick and contracted Lyme disease. At first, she had no idea what was wrong, but the voice that had carried her from those tiny bars to massive sold-out stadiums suddenly started giving out on her. As her health deteriorated, her marriage to Mutt Lange began to crumble. By 2008, the ultimate betrayal was uncovered. Mutt was having a secret affair with Marie Anne Thibault, who wasn't just Shania's personal assistant, but her absolute best friend. In one fell swoop, the 2 people she trusted most in the world completely stabbed her in the back. The grief was paralyzing. Shania fell into a severe dark depression, completely cutting herself off from the world. She fled to Switzerland with her young son, Ia, trying to patch her life back together. But her body was failing her too. The Lyme disease triggered terrifying blackouts, dizzy spells, and severe nerve damage to her vocal cords. She was convinced she would never sing another note. For years, she suffered in total silence, dealing with the resurfacing ghosts of her childhood trauma while trying to heal her broken heart and broken voice. But if there's one thing we know about Shania, it's that she's a fighter. She refused to let the disease have the final word. In 2018, she underwent a highly risky open-throat surgery. It was a terrifying procedure where she actually had to stay awake and sing while surgeons operated on her throat, stabilizing her vocal cords with Gore-Tex implants. Her voice came back completely different, much deeper and grittier than before, but she could finally sing again. For 2 straight years, she completely retrained her body. She had to relearn how to breathe, how to pitch, and how to control her new vocal cords from scratch. It was a brutal, incredibly frustrating process, but her stubborn determination won out. In 2017, she dropped Now, her first studio album in 15 years, proving to everyone that her talent hadn't aged a day. By 2023, she released Queen of Me, an album that was basically a victory lap celebrating survival and self-love. She hit the road again, playing 75 massive shows across North America and Europe in her late 50s, with the exact same electric energy she had in the 90s. And along the way, she found real love again. On New Year's Day in 2011, she married Frederick Thibault, who, in a wild twist of fate, was the ex-husband of the friend who had betrayed her. Out of total wreckage, they built a beautiful life together. Shania proved that no matter how much abuse, illness, or heartbreak life throws at you, you can always rise from the ashes. And that is the unbelievable story of Shania Twain, a woman who didn't just survive the music industry, but survived life itself. How do you feel after hearing everything she had to fight through just to keep her voice? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, because her strength is honestly so inspiring. If you loved this deep dive and want to see more raw, real stories about the legends who inspire us, make sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks a ton for hanging out, and I'll catch you in the next video.